Welcome, everybody, to the Artificially Smart Marketing Podcast, where we explore the exciting world of artificial intelligence and its impact on marketing. Every week, we feature in-depth conversations with industry leaders, technology experts, and marketing professionals. Our guests share their insights and experiences on how AI is transforming marketing and providing businesses with a competitive edge, keeping you up to date on the latest trends and best practices in AI-powered marketing. Now, whether you're new to the world of AI or an experienced professional, the Artificially Smart Marketing Podcast is the perfect place to learn about the latest advancements and how they can be applied to your business. Join us each week and let's explore the intersection of AI and marketing together. Hey there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Artificially Smart Marketing Podcast. My name is Matthew Maniac, your co-host, here with Tony Aponte, our other co-host, and as well as Merritt Lee, our first guest from Digital Design Solutions. Welcome, Merritt. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Matthew. Thank you. How are you doing today?
Doing good, doing good. Blessed and highly favored, as they say.
I love
uh,
it.
so a little bit about Merritt. Merritt Lee is the CEO and owner of Digital Design Solutions, which is a full-service web design and digital marketing company that has been in business for 28 years. Founded in San Francisco in 1996, Merritt was a pioneer in the web design industry. At Digital Design Solutions, they believe that a website is the core of all digital marketing efforts and should be both strong and professional. They pride themselves on being a boutique firm where each client's vision is brought to life. Merritt started her career at Stellar Solutions, a woman-owned aerospace firm in Palo Alto, and extended her creative services to the Space Foundation. She even designed a poster called Signatures in Space, which was signed by all the scientists on a project and then launched into space on their satellites. With over 300 clients, Digital Design Solutions has worked with businesses in a variety of industries, from beauty to the oldest bike manufacturers in the US. Their mission statement is, "We don't just build your website, we position you for success," which means that after building a website, they can also help with SEO, pay-per-click advertising, and social media management to help position their clients for success. And beyond all of that, Merritt is a near and dear friend to me. We've been working together for probably about what, 2 years now?
Actually, about three.
Almost three. Wow. Okay. That time flies. Time flies. But I'm super excited to have Merritt on today as our guest and kind of talk through about how she started to use AI and kind of her experiences with that, and then obviously where that's kind of going and how our listeners can additionally be able to benefit. So to start us off, Merritt, tell me a little bit about like rewind to almost like November of last year when ChatGPT kind of was first coming out, first starting to enter the market. What was kind of like your first like impression on it when it came in?
At first, you hear it and you hear different technology and it's just like another thing. But I think I have an extra added benefit because, like you said, we are friends. We are in the same industry. We talk a lot. And I kept hearing you talk about it and I kept hearing your excitement about it. And then when you started doing this podcast, I started listening to it. And then I started hearing more and more about the capabilities. And then you start questioning yourself and say, how can I institute this into my business? What else can I do? And how can I make this part of mine? And then the more I started listening to you guys talk about it, your excitement, and starting to read up on it, the more I started getting excited about it. And, we always talk about, and I have said this for years, I wish I could clone myself. And the thing that I get excited the most about with AI is really the fact that it can make your life more effective, more efficient. I want to empower my staff with AI to make everything that they do more efficient. I want to empower our business with AI, not because we're lazy, not because we want to do something quickly, but because I want to do things better. I want to be able to give more depth to what we do. I want to be able to give more thought to what we do. So AI to me, and as a designer, I think I do look at it differently than most because I'm just more excited about how it can make our processes better than I am about the graphics or the things that it does for you. And for I'm using it different than other people. People are using it for creative purposes. I'm using it more for efficiency in our business. And so that's what I get excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you talk about cloning yourself, right? I've been the same way for God knows how long. And now like for the first time, I mean, for those of you that follow me on Facebook, in a way, I kind of have cloned myself in the video space. But I mean, you bring up kind of a unique point there as far as developing, ways to use AI as far as process optimization and things like that. like I think if I recall from one of our earlier meetings, just talking about emails and email responses and how something like a chat GPT has been able to accelerate that process. I know it's helped me. I mean, can you tell me a little bit about how you're using it from a process optimization standpoint, and how you've enjoyed it, not enjoyed it, pros, cons?
Well, I mean, like the simplest thing is AI with emails. I mean, we as busy professionals and owners of companies, we're working nonstop. I mean, before the show, we were both talking about how we're going to be up till 12, 1 o'clock, and that's probably early for you, trying to get everything done. And when it's late in the evening, I've got 12 emails to write, and I don't have a lot of brain power, but I need to get them done. To be able to write emails, but then run them through Chat GPT and make sure that the grammar is right and those little words, like I'm like the queen of multitasking. There is always mistakes, grammatical mistakes in my emails because I'm always on the phone, doing chat, answering questions, doing 10 things at once. So if Chat GPT can make me look a little more intelligent by cleaning up my grammar, it is my favorite friend.
Awesome.
One thing,
Yeah,
Uh,
no, I mean, I was gonna say, like, and even beyond that, if you wanted to sound like Tony Robbins, it can do that for
yeah.
you too.
Yeah, I love the tone. And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it was the act as, and you had told me that tip before too. Write a quote acting as if you're a webmaster. Write a quote acting as if you are a business coach. Adding those little acting as, giving it the role. It's all about what I've learned this from you. It's all about the prompts you feed it in. You feed into it to get your better results. So a couple of things that we're using it for. I think the biggest thing we're using it for is quoting. We just quoted on a major job. It's probably a 12-month job. It's a huge project. We're under NDA, so I can't explain what it is. But we had to think out a quote that's going to span a 12-month project. And we had to think out all the different pieces to it. Now, could we do it ourselves with our own brain power? Yes, we can, because we're very smart on our team. But our web analyst and our executive web architect, as we call her, she was able to quietly sit in a corner, think it through, give it the prompts, but she actually used 4 different tools to do it, ran it through 4 different AI systems. She wrote out a full website quote, plan, projections, ideas, actions, pages, case studies, theories. She wrote it all out. And instead of taking a complete 40-hour week to do it, she did it in 4 to 5 hours. So again, it comes down to what you feed into it. So for us, being able to make it do quoting give us the baseline, then we still have to come back in and perfect it and put our touch on it. I'm a firm believer, and I think you guys are too, that there is nothing that you do with AI that is perfection. AI gives you the tools, it gives you the thoughts, it gives you the outlines. But then what really makes it special is when we come in and put our touches on it. I think that as time goes on, people are going to be able to zone out and see what's been written by AI. I can already tell what what social media posts are written by AI. But then if you take the creativity of my team and put that on top of the power of AI, then you've got a really special mix of ingredients. And it's the difference, like I always say, between a chef and a cook.
Yeah. And like, to that same point, I feel like I mean, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but you know, Tony and I are, and I'm sure you as well, we're in conversations all the time where, people are scared that AI is going to come and take their jobs. But just like what you said, the difference between a chef and a cook, it's not that it's going to remove jobs, it's just going to enhance and optimize those that choose to adopt it.
Yeah.
And it's like, and even then too, right? To the level of adoption, right? Because you can have someone that does a basic prompt and gets a basic response, or you can have someone that provides a very in-depth, detailed prompt that's more of a briefing than anything else. Couple that with a persona prompt, the act as, just like you had said, and then take that into something completely unique and new and different.
Mhm.
But I mean, kind of moving into some of the more advanced topics, right? Like now that the world is changing with this technology, and with businesses that adopt this, and with you kind of having been been in this space since the onset of the internet, being one of the forerunners of the web design space. You had mentioned that you were at the launch party of Netscape, right? Like, how
Yeah.
was that? How was that experience? Like tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I lived in San Francisco and I moved to San Francisco in 1991. And 94, things just started getting really exciting. And the onset of web design. Web design was truly in its infancy. I went to San Francisco State. I was in the infancy of their program that I graduated in the second class that was ever graduated from that school. I wrote for City Search as a restaurant reviewer. Well, City Search was the precursor to Yelp. We went to Netscape's launch party. It was amazing. It was everywhere you talked to people, they were excited about this new technology. And that's what's fun about watching you and Tony starting Noble Vision and everything that you're doing with this podcast, because you truly are forerunners in the AI space, that you're out there starting right when it's in the beginning saying, what can we do with this tool? How can we make it enhance people's lives? How can we enhance businesses? And so that's what's fun about it, seeing you guys at this cutting edge time. It's a watershed moment where the world is changing. And it's like you said, do we embrace it, or do we have fear from it? You cannot get away from it. If you do not embrace it, you will be left behind. So now it's like, how do we understand it? How do we offer it to our clients? And how do we make our businesses better? I always use this analogy too, and I think I shared this with you once, was that, when we used to code websites from scratch, now you can get AI to code it. Now, I personally do not use AI to design websites. That would be like asking me to design a website in Wix. I don't use Wix. I take people's sites out of Wix. It's got the power there for someone that doesn't have our creative backgrounds. But we like I said, we like to plan out a whole year's program and a whole year's website and a whole campaign. I'm kind of excited to see AI and how it writes your to-do list for you. I just kind of came across that. So yeah, I love being part of the energy of a starting technology, and I love seeing what you guys are doing with it.
Yeah, just Merritt, I want to thank you for sharing that, because we've been in the past episodes, we've been talking a lot about how business can use AI, right? But to be able to hear someone already how they're using it, it really goes to emphasize the fact that it's not about losing your job. It's about giving you a tool that is going to amplify your skills, right? And it's
Yeah.
going to give, how many, I'm sure that your team probably, it has probably tapped into more creative juices, because now they have a tool that can literally, a lot of times, how many times do we have these ideas in our head, but we just can't get it out? And if you're communicating with something like AI, before you know it, it can basically spit out everything into fruition. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, right?
Mhm.
And so I think this is it. This is a perfect example of what AI is going to offer small businesses. And if they go in there with that mindset of how can I use it to really help my team grow, I think a lot of business owners are just going to really understand the power and really help them to take the business to the next level.
Exactly. I said to one of the girls that works for me, and she does the majority of our quoting, and sometimes your brain gets tired. And I'm like, and we have always wanted to get an assistant to help with quoting. Well, now we have an assistant to help with quoting. It's called AI. So if you can harness the power of AI to make it do what you need, then that means that I can afford to pay my team a better raise because of the fact that we're being more efficient, and we can save all those quoting hours. And then we can take the hours that we spent quoting, those 8 hours that we saved in a week or 10 hours in a week, we can put that, like you said, to focusing on the design and making a better design, making sure that the message is even more enhanced than what the client gave us, making sure that we cross-checked everything and that the SEO is to the best that it can be, that so like I said, I'm not sitting here using it for graphics. I've never used Midjourney. I've played with it a little bit, but I've never used it to make a graphic. I'll use it for fun, but that's not what it is for me as a business owner. For me as a business owner, it's like, I want to learn more about what you guys do with it, how it will answer a sales call and text someone back, because that means we're going to touch them quicker as far as letting them know that we heard them. I want to save time, like I said, on the quoting process so we can put it into the creative process. Things like that. We have been designing AI bots for years, but you guys now make AI bots that are intelligent, that keep improving themselves. I mean, how revolutionary is that? That the AI bot can get more intelligent with every question, because there isn't any of us that haven't wanted to just throw our computers across the room when you get in an AI, when you get into a website bot and it keeps telling you the same thing. So I love that, the bots that you guys do are more intelligent. So isn't it exciting that we can all get smarter?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was doing a presentation last month, and there's the phrase "work smarter, not harder," but with AI, it's work smarter, automate harder. And I want to touch on something from a conversation, Merritt, that you and I had had. I think this was, I mean, probably a few months ago now, but um, well, wasn't there a point where we had talked about potentially doing some outsourcing on some social media tasks, but then having gone through some of the AI tools, you were able to optimize, and elevate that efficiency within your team to where there was no longer the need to outsource, and you could take it all in house very, very smoothly, right? Something like that happened.
Yeah, exactly. We, the other thing we've talked about is sometimes you don't want to grow bigger. You want your company to grow, but you don't want to bring on more staff. Every time you bring on more staff, you have to train, you have to spend a lot of time. And so we were at the point where like, okay, do we bring on another person? Do we just outsource it to a partner? What do we do? And we brought in AI tools to make us more efficient, and we didn't have to hire. And so that to me was just that was fantastic, because it's allowing us to do the work of 3 people with 1 person. And it's allowing us to just bring more efficiency to everything we do. And the fact that I didn't have to hire more people, that gave job security to who's here and allows us to do a better project and be more creative and not have to hire more people. It's a win-win.
No, definitely, definitely. So we hit on a lot of great things so far, right? Just in the aspects of, for those of you that have been listening to Tony and I for a while into this podcast, right? We talk about how this AI is here to help us and to support us and to make us more effective. And Merit is a living, breathing example of that, right? I know, again, there's probably, some doubters out there, but it's like, hey, like it's happening right in front of our eyes. Um,
You
I
know,
guess,
another action that we do is in our project management software, we can have 2-3 weeks worth of back and forth and notes and changes and tasks and everything. Now we can say, okay, AI, run through and give me a recap, a summary of everything that's been going on this particular project for the past 2 weeks. That means we don't have to sit there and read everything. We don't have to ask each other. We can just ask AI to give us a summary of what's happened on this account for the past 2.5 weeks, and line item it, and boom, it's done. We do a call with a client. We can say, okay, give us this AI summary of what came out of that call. And then we can take that and then we can run it through and work on the quote from there. So these are our real world applications. Now we're like, what else? What's next? What else can we do? you know? And that's what I
absolutely.
want to ask you guys too, is like, okay, this is what you specialize in, is automating businesses and making them more efficient. So what ideas do you have? I've been listening to your podcast from the beginning. I've got a few ideas, but what do you think I should be using as tools?
Well, so to start us off, so Tony and I, through Noble Vision, we have a proprietary framework that we've introduced to be able to use AI to speak directly to a specific target customer avatar based on questions that we can ask any business owner, right? We actually, I think we're going through it right now with you,
Yeah.
and doing some samples for digital design solutions with this framework. But essentially, what this does is it allows us to really hone in on specific messaging that speaks directly to your target audience demographic, right? And whether that's, you're talking to being in the, say, the home services industry, right? Tony's formerly a home remodeler, right? And he was telling me, I forget who we were on a call with, Tony, but you gave the example of the bathrooms, right? And when someone's going through a bathroom remodel and they're married, probably 9.999 times out of 10, it's the woman who is wanting to have that spa like feel, that kind of reservoir kind of retreat feel when they go into the bathroom, because that's like the vacation at home, if you will. And so kind of taking that into consideration, right? It's not like, oh, I just kind of want this sink. It's or I want this bathtub. It's no, I want this experience. And being able to use AI, we can create copy and messaging that speaks directly to that innate desire within the person that's going to be the one that makes that decision whether or not to purchase or contract. I mean, Tony, like, is there anything kind of that I missed there, or that you want to jump in from your background in the remodeling space?
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. It's the beauty of the framework that we that we put together. It allows us to really tap into the mindset of who we're talking to, right? So again, let's just go back to the bathroom remodel, right? Who are we talking to? You're in essence, you're talking to two different types of people, right? The wife, right? What is she thinking about? She wants that old, dilapidated looking bathroom to be her escape space. Then you have the husband. What's the messaging to him? Oh, I'm tired of hearing my wife complaining about this. I need someone that I can come in here and just make it happen for my wife, so that way she can be happy. That way I can be happy, right? I mean, it's a slight exaggeration, but really, that's you got two different types of conversations that you have to go, right? And so a lot of times, in my experience talking with other contractors, a lot of contractors really miss that, right? They miss that in depth messaging. It's they stay very generic. Where if you really want to set yourself apart as an authority, you really need to start getting a lot deeper into that conversation. Start talking a lot more, be more in tune to how your audience is really thinking, right? And so that's where AI and this framework that we put together, it allows us to really get into that. Merritt, I know with what you do, you've talked to all different kinds of customers, right? And they all think differently, and their audiences are completely different. So
Right.
you've got to be able to really get in there as a digital marketer. And if it's a niche that you really don't understand, you've got to really do your due diligence to really get that information from them, right?
Mhm.
So where this framework, it allows you to get a core message of their products. What is it they do? You know, who they are really want to target, and you plug all that into our framework, and it spits out the messaging, the branding that speaks to their audience, and you're not sitting there having to do a science project for 6 months before you finally get all the information that you need, right? Because if you're dealing with someone that in an industry that you really don't fully understand, you once you start that marketing campaign, you're gathering information as time goes on, right? And
Mhm.
the more you gather in time, the more you optimize that campaign. And sometimes that can, be weeks, even months before you finally have it dialed in.
Yeah.
Whereas with AI, you cut a lot of that time down.
Right. Again, it brings it down to it making everything more efficient, like,
Exactly.
you touched on it, Matthew, is that as a busy web design firm and digital marketing company, we don't have time to redesign our own website. And we're like, we really need to, but more than the website, which we will eventually get to, which I keep saying, and which we try to do every year at Christmas, which we're going to do this year at Christmas. But it's the content. I don't have time to rewrite all of our content, and our content hasn't been touched in years because, the old story, the cobbler's wife has no shoes. We have no time for our own site. To bring in AI, and I'm actually working with you guys so that we can create and be able to see the power of what you do, to rewrite the content on our website via AI. This is going to be really exciting.
Absolutely. And the just really briefly to circle back the aspect of how this optimizes and makes more efficient the messaging aspect of things. The gamers out there will appreciate this, the Call of Duty reference, right? It's the difference between spray and pray and aim small, miss small, right? It's taking the time out of, like when you're sending out all these different pieces of copy, whether that's social media, whether that's blog posts, whether that's website copy, right? Being able to have an asset that speaks directly to the people that you're trying to engage for your product or services, like just that time save is tremendous.
Mhm.
And I know we're coming up here on time, but wanting to briefly touch on one more thing before we go. This aspect of which everyone that's kind of been following us for a while has heard about the AI SMS follow up, right? And some people call it database reactivation. It goes by different names, but it's all typically roughly the same thing. And that's leveraging AI technology to engage your leads faster. Because how many times have you actually? Well, yeah, Merritt. How many times have you been either in a call, in a meeting, or just in that work zone, and you get a lead that comes in that you're not able to jump on right then and there?
Almost daily. My call schedule is back to back to back to back. So, if I didn't have someone doing sales with us, then I would totally miss it. And so that is a major pain point, I think, for any business owner, especially a small business owner, is how do you get back to all of those phone calls, all those leads? And so if you can automate that first touch so that they don't go and say, oh, well, they didn't answer, I'm going to go on to the next one. If they get that answer, then that makes it really, it gives you a better chance of getting that business. So I love that. That's the kind of automation that you just want to embrace and say, where have you been all my life?
Well, the answer to that is in development.
Yeah, right.
ChatGPT, where were you when I was in third grade?
Exactly. Well, and you think about like when I first started this business, there was no cell phones, or the cell phones were like this huge, we started doing social media for clients right when social media came out. It's like, again, I always say, you got to just embrace it. You got to see where it can do, what it can do for you. And if you ignore it, then you're going to be left behind. So take a look at it, take a look, try to learn and listen. The nice thing is with your podcast, you kind of get rid of some of the noise and kind of give me the tips and tricks of where to go. Like I listen to your podcast, I make notes. What was that software you said? What was this software? So I love that you guys are narrowing it down so that I don't have to take the time to research. So that's, what you're doing is it's just great that we have that ability to kind of glean off of the hours you're spending learning. But all of this really comes down to is, how can I make my life so I work smarter, not harder? And after being in this industry for so long, I certainly want any tips that I can get on that.
Awesome. Yeah, well, as I like to say, I mean, Tony probably laughs at me every time I say it, but we're artificially smart, but we're actually intelligent.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, I guess since we're coming on time, I want to take a moment just to say thank you so much, Merritt, for joining us tonight for an episode of the podcast. It was wonderful to have you on, and to all of our listeners and followers, thank you so much for jumping on for another episode of the Artificially Smart Marketing Podcast. You guys know what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Be sure to follow Merritt and the Digital Design Solutions team. Merritt, actually, where can people go to learn more about Digital Design Solutions?
DigitalDesignSolutions.co.
.co. Okay, so not .com. You guys heard it here first, folks. Thanks so much, Merritt, and everybody have a wonderful rest of your night or day or morning or whenever you're watching this or listening.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Awesome. Take care, everybody.